Hi everyone. So today coming at you is a short shoulder focused flow, more shoulder opening than strengthening. I know if you're working from home like me and have not invested in a good ergonomic chair yet, we're always like this, hunched over on the couch or texting or driving. And so really focusing on letting some of that tension go, opening up through the chest, a lot of heart openers today. So yeah, we'll get started. Take your first posture lying down on your back. If you're more comfortable seated, by all means, feel free to take it. Just start to get comfortable. Slowing down any thoughts running through the head. Feeling the body really melt into the mat. Shoulders draw heavy if you're laying down, hips sink in, limbs feel like they're weighted. Slowly begin to bring attention to the breath, lengthening each inhale and matching the length of the exhale. Every inhale, draw deep into the belly, expanding like a balloon. Exhaling out, deflating that belly. On your next breath in, that balloon expands. Really feel the sides of the lungs expand, almost like they could touch the ribs. Exhale everything out deeply. Taking a few more breaths. Letting this breath be the focus of your practice today. Knowing there's not need to think about anything else except that breath, except the present moment and the sensations you're creating in your body. On your next inhale, slowly begin to come to a seated position if you're not already there. Just rolling up, letting that blood pressure regulate, resettle as you're seated. On an inhale, lift the arms above the head. Exhale, drop the right arm, reach that left arm up and over towards the right side of the room. Every inhale, expand through that left lung. Exhaling, maybe leaning just a little bit deeper. Option to roll that left shoulder onto the back, opening up through the chest. One more full breath. On your in-breath, reach the right arm up. Exhale, left hand drop. Right arm reaches up and over to the left side of the room. Really anchoring in that right hip down onto the mat so you get a nice long stretch up through this right side body. Maybe rolling that right shoulder blade back. Opening up through that right armpit. Option to lift your gaze. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, we'll twist to the right. Left hand comes by the right knee or the right thigh. Right hand can extend behind you just a few inches. Every inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Feeling a slight constriction through the abdomen as you work this twist through the core as well as the shoulders. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand comes to the outside of that left leg. Left arm extends behind you. Really finding that rhythm of your own breath today. inhale, come back to center. Exhale, plant the hands in front of you. We're gonna come into a tabletop position. So hands, shoulders are gonna stack over the hands, hips stack over the knees. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, tuck that belly button up towards the spine, drop the head, cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Taking this a few more rounds. On your cat, really feel those shoulder blades draw away from each other. In cow pose, draw the shoulder blades together, really broadening through the front of the chest. When you're ready, come to a neutral tabletop position. Tuck the toes, lift the hips high, straightening through the legs. Coming into your first downward facing dog. You have option to pedal out the feet here, bending one knee, dropping the opposite heel to the ground. Allowing a little bit of bend in the knees so the hips can come a little bit higher. Torso moves towards the top of the thighs. On an inhale, slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins, flatten through the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming into half mountain pose. Shoulders draw up towards the ear and roll down the back. Palms face towards the front of the room. Close your eyes. Maybe set an intention here today. I encourage a good one for this practice would be to let go and release and find ease in your mind and throughout your body today. On an inhale, lift the hands above the head. Exhale, hands are going to drop towards the hips, and you're going to clasp your hands at your low back. Heel to the feet about hips with distance. Bending at the knees, fold over the legs as you drop the hands over the head. Bending through the knees, maybe so much that your belly rests on those thighs, feeling really supported. And note, I have super mobile shoulders, so what I look like in this pose may look very different to how your shoulders are feeling. So anywhere that you're feeling sensation is a really great place to be. Slowly drop the hands to the mat. Straighten through the legs if they're really bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands on the mat. Step back the left foot and then the right foot, coming into a high plank. Just a little bit of strength work. Holding here. Inhale, come forward on the toes, shoulders shift past the wrist. Exhale, lower all the way down. Option to take the knees to the mat first. Hands are going to come underneath the shoulders. And on an inhale, lift the head and the chest away from the mat, baby cobra. Really feeling the squeeze through the upper back. Less action in the low back here. If you are feeling any scrunching in the low back, scrunching in the low back, bring your feet out to about the edges of the mat. Nice little space for more room. Exhale, lower. We're gonna walk the hands out to the outside edges of the mat. So your elbows are gonna be kind of in line with your shoulders. Wrists extended out a little bit past the elbows. And on an inhale, lift the head and the chest. Fingers are tended like you have cupcakes underneath. Exhale, release down. We'll take one more. Inhale, lift the head and the chest. Dropping the right shoulder to the mat. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop the left shoulder to the mat. Inhale, up. Exhale, come back down. Place the hands right back underneath the shoulders. We'll come up through a tabletop, just pressing up. Take a cat-cow here if that feels really good. I love cat-cows. They're probably one of my favorite poses of the practice. Tucking the toes, heading back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high. Bend the knee, open the hip towards the left side of the room. Flexing through that right foot. Option to roll the ankle here. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale, big step that foot in between the hands. Drop the back left knee. On an inhale, lift the arms high, low lunge. Playing around with this lunge, how deep you want to sit into it. Pulling up might create more strength through that right leg. Sinking down in, you'll open up through the front of the left hip. Choosing a sensation you want right here, right now. Inhale, reach out of the hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. We're gonna lean forward just slightly and twist over to the right side of the room, hands at heart center. Option to bring that left elbow to the outside of the right leg, coming into a prayer twist. This bind, if it's there for you, can really aid you in bringing that right shoulder back, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, plant the hands on the mat. We're gonna straighten through that front leg, coming into a half split. Maybe wiggling that back knee so your hips stack over the knee. Flexing through that foot. Keeping any bend in that front knee that makes this accessible, knowing that sensation and pain are different, so feeling sensation, feeling into it even if you're a little bit uncomfortable, but avoiding any sharp pains. We don't want sharp, we want, I can't think of the word, but inhale, come forward, bending the knee. Tuck the back toes, lift that left knee off the mat. Step the right foot to meet the left, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Maybe roll out that ankle. Inhale, come back to center, square off that hip to the mat. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands, dropping the right knee down to the mat. Inhale, arms lift up, low lunge. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Lean the chest forward, twisting to the left. Keeping those hands right at heart center, focusing on the shoulders drawing together. Your abdomen is going to tuck up and in, maybe feeling it activate just slightly. Inhale, come back to center, arms reach up. Exhale, hands drop, straighten through the left leg, half split. Knowing that if you need to adjust in a pose, if you're not quite liking where you landed, you have the freedom to do so. Inhale, come forward, bending through that left knee, Hands plant, tuck the right toe, right knee lifts off the mat. Step the left foot to meet the right. Taking a few breaths here in your down dog. Maybe shrugging the shoulders. Really feel what it feels like to have those shoulder blades drawn back into the sockets. Not putting too much pressure through the shoulders, which I know is hard to do in this pose, but start to feel the difference with shrugging the shoulders up and down the back. Come back to neutral wherever that is in your down dog. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. Stay in this high lunge. Your back heel is going to rotate about 45 degrees. Your foot coming flat on the mat. And inhale, lift up, warrior one. Finding your footing, really pressing through all four corners of that right foot. And still squeegeeing the outside edge of that left foot. Knowing your hips are not going to become square to the front of the room, especially if it's causing any pain on this knee, this back left knee. Just keep your hips rotated out just slightly. We're going to clasp our hands at the low back. Inhale, the fingertips drop down towards the earth, chest expands towards the ceiling. And exhale, lean forward, coming into a humble warrior as the fingertips draw overhead. If you're feeling sensation with them closer to the hips, that's totally fine, stay there. Just breathing in and exhaling, releasing just a little bit more. Inhale, come back up to warrior one, big movement. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Sinking through this right leg, knee tracks over the middle toes. Duck's throwing her bone around. Take an inhale. Stay for the exhale, release the shoulders. Inhale, straighten through the right leg. Exhale, lean forward. Drop that right hand down, coming into triangle pose. Right hand can be all the way down on the mat, can be resting on your shin. If you have a block or books handy, that's a great way. Micro bend in this front knee so we're not locking it out, overextending that joint. Now, we're gonna rotate our hand towards the back of the room. So thumb faces the back of the room and your palm faces the wall behind you right now. And then we're just gonna drop the hand, wrapping it around the low back. Maybe that hand finds the top of the thigh for a nice little binded triangle pose. Really working that shoulder open. You'll also feel this stretch all the way through the left outer hip and up into the side body. Inhale, come back to your triangle pose. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Regroup. Notice how that right side of the body feels compared to the left. On an inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. Right heel drops down. Rise up on the in-breath, warrior one. Really keep drawing that belly up and in towards the spine. Last inhale. Exhale, hands clasp of the low back. Reach the fingertips towards the floor as the chest expands open. Exhale, lean forward, coming into your humble warrior. Know you can make this as active or as passive as you feel. More passive route, allowing the body to lay against that left thigh. Or if you're looking for some more core work, hover the abdomen over the thigh. working into the shoulders with this bind. Big inhale brings you all the way up to warrior one. Exhale, open warrior two. Maybe have to wiggle that back foot back just a little bit. Keep sinking through that front knee. Draw the shoulders up towards the ear. Then roll them down the back for this last inhale. And hold for the exhale. Inhale, straighten through the left leg. Reach, reach, reach forward. Then on the exhale, bring the left hand down to block the floor or your leg. Now begin to rotate that thumb towards the back wall. And then dropping the hand behind the back. So the back of your hand is going to be against your back. And then maybe wrapping that hand on the thigh if you've got some flexibility in your shoulder. If you don't, that's okay. It has a lot more to do about the shape of your body than like your ability and your flexibility. Knowing that any place is good if you're feeling sensation. Inhale, lift that arm back up. We're gonna rotate the hand back to the mat. Come up on the ball of that right foot and step the left foot to meet the right, coming into downward facing dog. Keep this downward facing dog. Last one of practice, I believe, for now. Yeah, take one more inhale. Exhale, you're gonna come into child's pose, dropping the knees. The knees can be either spread wide towards the edges of your mat or come together. I'm gonna move the puppers off my mat a little bit. To a nice child's pose. Inhale, come to tabletop, and then extending into a supported plank. And then lower all the way down, bending at the elbows. We're gonna extend the left hand long in front of us, bending through the right knee, flex the foot. The right hand is gonna find the outside of the right foot or the ankle, depending on what kind of flexibility you have in that shoulder. And on an inhale, we're gonna lift the foot up towards the ceiling, coming into a half bow. Option to extend the left arm away from the mat and maybe the left foot. Inhale, lift everything a little bit higher. Exhale, release it down to the mat. Switching this out, right hand is gonna extend towards the front of the room. Bend through the left knee, flex the foot. Left hand grabs for the left foot. On an inhale, left foot lifts towards the ceiling. Option to lift the left arm and the left foot. Equal parts pressing the foot towards the ceiling and pressing the shoulder and the hand into the foot. Yeah, really opening through that shoulder. You'll feel it if you play around with it. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend everything long on the mat. Take a breather. Maybe windshield wipering the feet from side to side. When you're ready, begin to find stillness. Your hands are going to plant underneath your shoulders. Lift up into a tabletop position. On an inhale, lift the right arm high towards the sky. Exhale, hand is going to come into the space between the arm and the thigh. Threading the needle. Coming down on that right shoulder. Maybe even resting the head on the mat. If You want to find that bind again at the low back, rotating the thumb towards the back wall, dropping it around the low back, and really leaning onto that right shoulder. If you took the bind, begin to bring that hand back down to the mat. Really press into the left hand as you lift up. Right arm extends towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring everything back down to the mat. Now on the in-breath, left arm lifts. Exhaling it, bringing underneath the body through that right arm and laying down on that left shoulder. Always a great place to put like a book or a pillow underneath the head. That feels more comfortable for you. Option to take that bind, dropping the arm behind the low back, maybe grabbing for that left thigh. If you took the bind, come back, bring that right hand back down to the mat. Inhale the left arm up, and then left hand meets the right. We'll just come sitting the hips back down towards the heels, coming to a seat at the top of your mat. You can stay in that hero's pose with your hips on your heels or come into a cross-legged seat, whatever is comfortable. We'll just do a little bit more shoulder work, just a little bit of stretching, and then we'll slow things down even more. So we're gonna take this left hand, extend it out in front of you, palm faces the front of the room, thumb is up towards the ceiling. Rotate that thumb down. So you're rotating your elbow, either elbow, down and towards the back of the room. Yeah, and then you're gonna bend at the elbow and your hand is gonna come up, so the palm of your hand is on the back of your mat, or the back of your back. Okay, so we're there. Right arm extends, reach up towards the ceiling, bend at the elbow, so the palm of your hand is facing your back, and maybe your fingertips touch. You can create this bind. Here, I'll show you, just like this. Again, I have hyper mobile shoulders, so if it's easier for you, grab like a dish towel, place that hand, right hand comes behind your back, and then just grab for this towel and just pull them apart. Pull like the towel, you're gonna rip it in half. Feel nice and open through that right shoulder, right armpit. Keep relaxing the shoulders down the back. Slowly begin to come out of this, maybe releasing the towel that you had. Now a little opposite work to really lengthen through the shoulder blades. We're gonna extend the arms out to a T. Wrap that right hand underneath the left elbow, that right elbow underneath the left elbow. So like coming into a crossed position. Option for those palms to find each other with another bind. Bringing the elbows up in line with the shoulders as you draw the shoulders back. This is eagle arms. If this is really not comfortable for you, always option to just give yourself a nice big hug. Really feeling those shoulder blades draw together or draw away from each other. You know, I'm probably sounding like a broken record at this point. Keep breathing here. Last inhale. Exhale, release everything long. Maybe shake out the arms. We'll switch sides. So extend that right arm out long. Drop the thumb towards your mat. Palm faces the back of the room. Bending at the elbow. Back of the hand is placed on the mid-back. Left arm reaches. Bend through the elbow. Palm of the hand faces the back. And maybe the fingertips find each other for a bind. or you grab your towel. Feeling into the sensation that you're creating in the body. If your mind's still wandering everywhere, focus on that sensation, that feeling through the left shoulder. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly come out of this, just releasing the arms. Extend the arms out to the T. And then your left arm is going to wrap underneath the right, meeting at the elbows. Option for those hands to come together. Really drawing those elbows up by extending the fingertips towards the ceiling. Shoulders spread away from each other. Last inhale, lift the fingertips a little bit higher towards the ceiling. Exhale, slowly release the arms. Yeah, maybe wiggle it out a little bit. Next, we'll come down to our bottoms and then slowly, over the dog, slowly roll all the way onto your back. We're gonna come into just one bridge pose. I'm gonna scoot up so I don't have to move the dog again. Oh, it's Duck's world, I'm just living in it. So your feet are gonna come in pretty close to your glutes. Arms are gonna stretch long next to the sides of the body. Maybe fingertips graze the heels of the feet. And on an inhale, lift the hips up, coming into a bridge pose. Maybe drawing one shoulder blade under and then the other, clasping the hands at the low back and reaching them towards the floor as you lift the hips just a little bit higher. Inhale for one more little lift. Exhale, lower everything down to the mat. Keeping the feet grounded, just lift the hips up just slightly and place them over just an inch or so to the left side of the room. Hug the knees into the chest and drop the knees over to the right, coming into a supine twist. Arms can extend to a T or goalposts. Gaze can fall over that left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Plant the feet back on the ground. Lift up the hips. Put them over to the right, just a few inches past midline. Inhale, bring the knees to center. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Gaze over that right shoulder if it's comfortable on the neck. Just like at the beginning of class, really letting those shoulders sink into the mat, especially that right shoulder. Letting the limbs feel so heavy. Letting the mat support you. On an inhale, bring the knees to center, maybe realigning those hips back to midline. Hug the knees into the chest, wrap the forearms around the shins, lift the head up towards the knees. Give yourself one nice final hug, final squeeze. And exhale, release everything long on the mat, coming into your final Shavasana pose. Finding a position that allows you to feel super relaxed, super supportive, very little physical effort here. And very little mental effort here as well. Allowing thoughts to just come up and then float right by. I'll give you a few moments and then I'll bring you out of Shavasana. slowly begin to bring awareness back to the body. Maybe just noticing any sounds, any smells. Begin to deepen the breath, drawing it through the belly. Nice big inhale. Exhaling out the mouth, nice big sigh. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, working into those hips a little bit as the movements get bigger. Ultimately coming into a nice big long body stretch on your mat. We'll slowly make our way to a seat at the top of our mat, however you want to get there. Maybe that's through a fetal position or just slowly rocking up. Once you're there, hug that belly in just slightly as the shoulders draw down the back. Nice, long, straight spine. Inhale, bring the arms above the head. Drop the left arm, bring the right hand to the outside, left side of the head, and then just slowly lean it over, tilting the right ear towards the right shoulder. Maybe walking that left hand out just slightly. You feel a nice little pull through the left side of the neck. Release the hand, slowly drop the head so the chin comes closer to the shoulder. Slowly come out of this, walking that left hand back in. Chin comes towards the chest and then look back up. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, drop the right hand. Left ear comes towards the left shoulder as you grab for the outside of the right side of the head. Left and right are always lightly press down. Stretching through the neck. Walking that right hand maybe out just a little bit. Release any hold on the head if you have it, then dropping the left chin. Slowly making your way out of this by dropping the chin to the center of the chest and looking up. Bring the hands to the knees or bring the hands to heart center, closing the eyes. Being so proud of getting on your mat today and hopefully releasing some things that weren't serving you. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thanks for joining, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Say bye, Duck.